For the upcoming Knowledge Exchange Forum that begins on November 23rd, we wanted to offer a guide to help in integrating the various case stories and practices which our presenters will offer. As communication vehicles, social media like wikis, Facebook, Twitter, and Digg are part of a range of physical and social technologies that can help to foster connectivity and choice within a wide spectrum of social collaboration. This spectrum of social collaboration ranges from small group collaboration that is based on direct face-to-face communication and is dominated by social technologies, to mass collaboration that is based on mass communication and is dominated by computer, telecommunications, and internet technologies. This mass communication is directed at no one person in particular, but is geared towards altering the environment in some way. Think of it as communication among strangers by leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. Small group collaboration involves social technologies for networking, building trust, developing relationships, building consensus, sharing decision-making, getting shared commitments, monitoring performance, ensuring accountability, developing partnership agreements, and then actually doing something together. Once this pre-work is done, the social costs of collaboration do decline, but the need for relational governance continues as long as the collaboration persists. Until the Internet, this form of collaboration was used almost exclusively. Small group collaboration might be characterized as slow to start up, having relationships before action, requiring high trust, involving high partner monitoring, focusing on tacit knowledge exchanges, involving high customization, using team decision-making, involving smaller scales and exposure, and being driven by member-dependent growth. Although mass collaboration does require a few basic rules, action essentially comes first. Collaborators then react to some initial action by accepting it, modifying it, or rejecting it. This is the premise of the well-known open-source technologies such as Linux or wikis. Complete strangers can collaborate without having to invest anything in establishing a relationship. Therefore, this form of collaboration is often assumed to be very efficient. In comparison to small groups, almost no upfront work is required. In contrast to collaboration in small groups, mass collaboration may be characterized as quick to start up, having relationships after action, requiring low trust, involving low partner monitoring, focusing on the exchange of codifiable knowledge, involving high standardization, using uncentralized decision-making, involving potentially large scales in exposure, and being subject to viral growth. What's interesting is that both of these forms of collaboration can produce similar cultures of sharing, which include effective dissemination and exchange of information, knowledge collaboration and frame reconciliation, collective learning, shared ownership and decision-making, rigorous feedback and accountability, innovation, shared commitment, the development of new resources, and the effective and efficient implementation of collaborative endeavors. Their key differentiator, however, is scale. Research has shown that small group collaboration works best in groups of less than 25 people. Mass collaboration requires access to large audiences, ideally over 100,000, which is why this form of collaboration was not particularly prevalent until the advent of the Internet. Without that reach, mass collaboration tends to be weak, unreliable, or lacking in quality. Its basic premise was famously captured by Linus Torvald, the originator of Linux, when he said, "The more eyeballs, the fewer bugs." Of course, its corollary is also true, that is, the fewer eyeballs, the more bugs. Some enthusiasts have promoted social media as if simply putting the technology in place will magically generate collaboration, ignoring the huge audience scale needed to be effective. Anyone who has ever tried to create an online chat space or discussion forum, or even a collaborative website, knows what white elephants they can be. On the other hand, some groups, using relational collaboration, try to extend their reach by involving hundreds or thousands of people, and then are surprised by how fruitless and ineffectual their collaboration becomes. Both types of collaboration have well-known rules and practices. Trouble is, many initiatives are not purely one type or the other. Their scale is somewhere in between. So what do you do with groups larger than 25 and smaller than 100,000 that might want to collaborate? How do you bridge that middle ground? The answer lies in mixing physical and social technologies. At NRCan, for instance, one of their most strategic choices in developing a wiki for their 5,000 employees was to minimize the number of rules which would apply to it. This mass collaboration technique was achieved by negotiating a handful of rules with Treasury Board, which NRCan refers to as guardrails. At the same time, they insisted that the wiki have no budget and encouraged employees to build it themselves for their own purposes, which, as it turned out, proved to be largely social, connecting groups of people within the organization. By letting staff take ownership, they created small group networks linked together by wiki technology. If creating a culture of sharing is the goal, then how much social media should we be using? How much face-to-face communication is enough? Over the course of this conference, we'll hear many stories of how different groups try to achieve this balance. In the end, we hope you'll share your own stories of successful collaboration as well.